Hello, traders. This is a income trader. I haven't done a video for a while because I worked during the summer. Well, I haven't been working very much, but at any rate, basically, I'm going to talk about what I see in the markets and go from there. This is for information purposes only. Basically, I'm looking for about a 300 point drop in the S&Ps or the ES futures. That's my ultimate target going into the election. I think a lot of things are going on here with the election and everything. Some things I am formulating in my head, thinking here. I think going in this election season, the Democrats are going to do everything in their power to be pro social media. So whatever the tide is doing, they're going to flip back and forth. And I think that is really evident with Biden being down there during the funeral in Texas. They're doing everything in their power to have social media completely and totally on their side going into this election. And another thing, which nobody's talking about, for his VP candidate, which is going to be announced here in the next month or so, I think that the primary, the candidate that they're going to put on the ticket, Michelle Obama. That's I'm the first person, one of the first people to mention this, but that's what I'm thinking they're going to do, and do a similar situation like Trump did with Pence. Pence pretty much won the election for Trump. He brought the votes in that he needed to get over the top, and I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to bring in really, as far as a given the times, the Michelle Obama is probably the smartest choice to gain the most votes going into the election. So that's kind of what I'm calling right here. We'll see what happens. And then some other things that I'm looking at here. Let's see here. I'll go back on that if I some other things come to mind. But we'll go on my chart here real quick. As you can see, we have an expanding wedge, very unhealthy topping pattern setting up here on ES futures. Very, very, very unhealthy situation going on here. This would have been a really clearly defined left shoulder, head, right shoulder. But now with all that fiscal stimulus, trillions of dollars of fiscal stimulus, they tried to blow it up here, but I think we're finally resolving to the downside, and the Fed's actually encouraging a downside move in these markets. Okay. So basically, like I said, I'm looking for almost a 300 point drop down to 27.31 to finish the pattern for the head and shoulders. That makes sense to me. And going from here, and then you could actually draw a channel to this level right here, the 29.11, as a significant area for support. Also, if you want to do a sideways channel for the head and shoulders. So basically, what you would do, you just go and add channel. Okay, and basically something like this. See, look what we've done there. That's a sideways channel, head and shoulders. Okay, so basically, the next support level, actually, the low of this is not really supportive. So our next support level is 29.11. So we're actually going to violate this a little bit into our next major support zone. So keep that in mind, going into this week on your trading. Now, on your daily chart, basically, I got these levels by looking at high volume on my daily charts. And so basically, yeah, like I said, 29.11 thing going on here. Basically, we've broken the 20 SMA on our daily for ES futures. And we seem to be drifting lower, still in that defined channel like I had mentioned. So definitely to keep in mind here where we're ultimately headed, in my opinion. And in all the intraday charts, the last one I'm going to use is the 4 hour. And as you can see, basically we've broken the 20 SMA. We're already pushing out a 2 standard deviation move on that close Friday. So some things I'm looking at here. It basically the markets had a lot of rebalancing Friday, so you don't want to read too much into Friday's action and get yourself all big time net short because of all the federal stimulus hitting the markets. So basically, because we have the Federal Reserve supporting the markets, in my opinion, you follow the trends on the upside, but on the downside, you strategically actively trade uh, short entry points for the short side. I don't think you should necessarily follow the trend on the short side with knowing that the Fed's backstopping the markets. So basically, just take quick profits and stuff on the downside on in this environment. So that's kind of way I'm playing it. I don't think you should go more than a few days on the short side. You're asking to get in trouble knowing that Federal Reserves across the planet are injecting cash into the markets. So just something to keep in mind going forward here. Okay. Okay, the Qs. It's myself. Okay, let me go on the weekly first, and we'll show you what we got here. Basically, look at this. We have another wedge pattern, and so basically, we are at the upper ends of the wedge. Okay, and I don't really have it drawn out, do I? So basically, you got from here to here, the green here. I'll just do it this way. Darn and dirty, quick and dirty here. There's your one line, and then on the downside, you got another wedge pattern down here. So you got an ascending wedge pattern formation going on here on the Qs, and the Qs are actually relative strength, of course. Okay, and we've come off the top, the second time off the top, and a very bearish weekly pattern for last week, closing out here. So basically, I see support at the 25, 70 area. That's our next support area. And basically, what I'm seeing with this pattern, our next significant support is right down here at the 8,900 level. So real significant support down here if we were to start getting selling pressure on the Qs on the weekly. 8,900 level. Okay. So basically, this gives you a little idea of what I'm looking at here. The 87, 86. I just don't think it's going to be awfully hard to come down here, but we'll see what happens on these markets. We do have some support. Yeah, around the 9,000 area is supportive, in my opinion, for the markets. So we'll go from there. And let's see here. So basically, with that rebalancing Friday, we were just overblown on the upside for the NQs, and if we do continue to get a sell off, I do think a retest down here makes sense on RQs. So the 95.62 area, I'm not reading a whole lot into that yet, so keep that in mind. But like I said, all the way down here to the like the 9,000 area would be our next support area. And then the white line represents the 2020 Open. So just keep that in mind. That would cause a whole lot of carnage in the markets if that were to happen. So just something to keep in mind here as support. This is acting as support because this is the prior breakout at level. Okay. And we've hit it once. So it makes sense that we're going to come down and hit it a second time, maybe channel even longer. So you don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's where we're headed. The 85 or 8,600 level, something like that, or the 9,600 level. Okay. Now, what I do want to point out here is with IWM, we are back to the March lows, this trend line. We have come right into that on a weekly basis. So as of next week, given the close, there's a very good chance our Russell is going to be breaking the uptrend from the March lows. So keep that in mind going forward here on a weekly basis for our Russell, showing it's possibly leading to the downside here. And then on the daily chart here, as you can see, the Russell not looking too healthy here. We do have support right here at the moderate support at the 133.22 area for we have to break that first before things really get dicey. But like I said, we're breaking that trend, so it's a pretty good chance Monday will be at least testing, if not breaking that. But the significant support, in my opinion, is way down here at the 117.36, 117, yeah, 35, 117.40 area is where the significant support, in my opinion. Anytime you're breaking trend like that, it can get nasty pretty quick. So that's what it looks like it's setting it to me, but you never know. Come in Monday, they might be gapping it all up. So something to definitely keep on watch here. So the quick rundown from Friday. The main things to look at this weekend, that's Amazon and Apple, and see how their character is changed. Is it so? Basically, they had redistribution for Apple and Amazon. There was big gains this quarter, this month, and they had to a lot of fun. They had to uh, redistribute their funds because of all the gains. So, so buyers might step up Monday, then again, they may not. So keep that in mind. Something definitely to keep on watch going forward here. Uh, so basically, we had that big sell off Friday, which is, big percent gainers on the puts. We just basically we have not even broken the very first support level, in my opinion, for Apple. So, markets are not in a free fall here yet, but could be here real soon. So definitely keep on watch. We got to break the 351.80, 350. Yeah, about 351 70. So, yeah, 351.50 area, something like that. We start breaking that, and things can start getting dicey on some volume. Basically, ultimately, if the markets get really ugly here for any reason, significant support 313.70 area for Apple. Do I think we're going to get down there? It's hard to say. I mean, uh, but yeah, there's a lot of risk going forward here in the summer. So that is my target, the 313.70 area for Apple. Thinking a top is in here. Here's the left left head, and then that's my ultimate near term target. We'll see what happens here. It could actually 302.90 in a really bad situation. Uh, so basically, if this thing's falling like that, the market's going to really be plummeting. So just keep that in mind going forward here. And then we have Microsoft. And basically taking a little profit off this morning. Long ways down. This is not a supported area for Microsoft. So keep that in mind. Microsoft can fall pretty hard to be back testing this breakout pattern. So just something to keep in mind. Look at the very high volume Friday on all the rebalancing for Microsoft, major rebalancing for Microsoft, but yet we weren't getting much selling action yet in the price. So definitely something to keep on watch going forward here. Major supports all the way down here, the 160 areas, 160, 162 areas, which highly unlikely we get, but you never know. Something can happen after earnings, of course. And like I said, if you go on your 4-hour charts on some of these, I don't want to show all these here. Yeah, we're just now finally breaking below some 20 SMAs on our intradays. Microsoft was one of the strongest out there, and it's just finally crossing the 20 SMA on our 4-hour. So basically, all the intradays it crosses the 20, and then it goes into your longer time frames. So we're just starting to see a little bit of trouble in some of these stocks. Netflix is actually a really bullish stock. Can't see too much with that one. Let me go over here on the longer time frame. And basically, we had a lot of froth up here. We tried to do a breakout, coming crashing down. This one here, below average volume, very strong candle. So this is good to me, suggests some significant selling pressure in Netflix. So keep that in mind. Microsoft is supportive. Netflix is not. So keep that in mind. I really think this is going to be a leader to the downside. 409 area is my target. Primary target 370 area is a potential. So keep that in mind also. So keep just some things to keep on watch here. Very bearish chart in my opinion. Facebook, bad news Friday. Very bearish chart. It had the volume and it had the sell off. On a relative basis, given the volume though, I'd be hesitant to try to short that one coming into Monday. So just keep that one in mind. My primary target, if the news flow does continue to get worse, 190.44. So that would put it back to the basically going into the before the earnings gap. Okay, that's the day before earnings. So going into this quarter's earnings, coming down to this right here, given the news flow, is not does not seem unrealistic in my opinion. Okay. Oh, Amazon, I forgot to mention that one. Amazon, very, very overbought here. Now keep in mind, like Microsoft, we got above average volumes here, but the candle action, that's my point, is it's still a relatively small candle given the higher volume. Now, like I said, this thing can come down. This is a blow off top possibly scenario. My next support would be the 25, 24. I'm less bearish on Amazon despite the highs. We're still putting in higher highs, so you've got to be very careful here. You want to see that lower high before you start thinking a reversal's coming into play here. Okay. Facebook, Amazon. Did I do Google or not? Yeah, let me look here. Nope. Okay, we have a lower high for Google. Like I said, this is more bearish. So now it's telling us, and this has got a squeeze. Look at that real tight squeeze for Google. This one here can get really, really ugly. So just keep that in mind. I think that's a very ugly chart. So basically, support down here, 1230, 1230. So this is right behind Netflix as far as my opinion. This is a very, very bearish chart in my opinion for Google. So we'll see what happens here going forward. If this is telling us the resolution is to the downside for Google going forward here. Okay, that's all I've got to say here. Please leave comments below. Like it if you like it. If you guys have different ideas and stuff, leave comments or even leave links to your chart or something like that. I'd appreciate it. Okay, thanks a lot, and I will see you in the chat room.